Welcome back to MMA Buzz Official. Let's start with our first news. Paulo Costa has once again fired a direct and fiery message at Khamzat Chimaev. This isn't the first time Costa has tried to get under Khamzat's skin, but this time his words felt far more personal. For months, Costa has been targeting the Chechen star, making it clear he has unfinished business with him. Even before his fight with Roman Kopylov, Costa was already planting the seed that one day he and Chimaev would inevitably clash. Now that Khamzat has captured the middleweight title and established himself as the new champion, Costa has only intensified his pursuit. He's kept his name attached to Khamzat at every possible opportunity, ensuring that fans, the media, and UFC matchmakers don't forget about him. During his latest appearance on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, Costa delivered one of his most aggressive callouts to date. Staring directly into the camera with complete confidence, he said, "Motherfucker, look, you know who I am. I'm coming for you. You can hide as much as you want, but I know how to fight you. You're going to rush me, you're going to shoot for my legs, try to take me down, try to do your thing. I know that, I expect that, and I am ready for it. But here's the difference. We've got 5 rounds. I'm going to make you pay for every single takedown attempt. Every time you shoot, you'll suffer. My coach Eric Albarracin has taught me exactly how to punish you in those positions. Once we're back on the feet, I'll hurt you so badly you'll want to quit, but I won't let you. I'll keep going until the referee has to step in. I'm coming for you, and I will defeat you." This wasn't just typical trash talk. Costa went even further, physically demonstrating how he believes he can neutralize Khamzat's wrestling-heavy approach. Explaining his plan, he said, "The moment he shoots, and I know he'll shoot in the first second, I'll block his head, drive my knee, and stop him right there. Then he'll try again and again, but every time he does, he'll lose energy. Eventually, he'll get tired. That's when I'll start landing shots, head, body, everywhere. Even if he does take me down, he won't be able to hold me there. The moment my butt hits the ground, I'll stand right back up and we go again." Costa's confidence is sky high. He truly believes he has the tools to deal with Chimaev's relentless wrestling and grappling. However, while Costa may want a title fight immediately, the reality is that he may not be next in line. The middleweight division is stacked with talent. Fighters like Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland, and rising contenders such as Nassourdine Imavov and Caio Bravo are all in the mix. Despite his bold words, Costa may still need to secure another convincing victory inside the octagon to earn his shot. There's no denying he's a dangerous fighter. He has power, size, aggression, and proven striking at the highest level. But in the UFC, title opportunities aren't handed out based on trash talk alone. Costa must back up his words with action. If he truly wants to face Khamzat Chimaev, he'll need to prove to the UFC that he deserves the chance to stand across from the undefeated champion. Moving to our second news. Arman Tsarukyan recently revealed something very interesting about Khamzat Chimaev's last fight, giving us a rare look into the mindset of a fighter who has just reached the very top. Tsarukyan, who has trained with Khamzat in the past, explained that during the fight, Khamzat actually wanted to strike more in the later rounds, but his coach stopped him. In a recent interview, Arman detailed what happened between rounds 3 and 4. Khamzat turned to his corner and asked if he could move around more in the stand-up. He wanted to mix things up, show off his striking, and perhaps give fans more of the action they were expecting. But his coach immediately shut that idea down, insisting that Khamzat stick to the game plan that was already working perfectly. According to Arman, Khamzat asked, "Brother, now can I move around in the stand-up?" His coach responded, "No, go in and do the same thing. You're already winning 3-0. Why take unnecessary risks? Stick with the game plan." This small exchange reveals a lot about Khamzat's mentality and the discipline of his team. At that moment, the crowd was restless. Many fans were booing, and critics were calling the fight boring. A less disciplined fighter might have tried to chase a knockout or put on a flashy performance just to satisfy the audience. But that's often how champions lose, by abandoning what's working simply to prove a point. Khamzat showed that he's not just a wrecking ball looking for highlight reels. He's a smart, calculated fighter who listens to his corner and prioritizes victory over entertainment. That discipline is what separates good fighters from great ones. At the championship level, winning is everything. You don't get extra points for pleasing the crowd if it risks the fight. What Khamzat demonstrated was the ability to trust his team and stick to a system, even when the temptation to do more was strong. That is the mark of a high-level competitor. It also speaks volumes about his coach's influence. A coach's job isn't just to prepare a fighter technically, but also to manage emotions in the heat of battle. When adrenaline is high and the crowd is roaring, it's easy for a fighter to lose focus. Khamzat's coach kept him grounded, reminding him that the path to victory was already laid out, and Khamzat respected that advice. Fans might debate whether the fight was exciting, but from a technical standpoint, it was a masterclass in control. Khamzat's grappling neutralized his opponent completely. He took no real damage, secured round after round, and proved that he can dominate at the highest level. For the casual audience, it may not have been fireworks, but for those who understand MMA, it was a display of pure discipline and strategy. And this is exactly why Khamzat Chimaev is such a dangerous champion. He's not only explosive and powerful, but also patient and coachable. He knows when to take risks, and more importantly, when not to. That balance of chaos and control is what makes him truly elite. Let's dive into our next news update. Pimblett has fired back at fans who criticized Khamzat Chimaev's fight with Dricus du Plessis, about many in the MMA community labeled as boring. Some fans even went as far as to boo during the later rounds, frustrated that the action wasn't as explosive as they had hoped. But Paddy didn't hold back when addressing that criticism, making it clear where he stands on the matter. For the casuals, yeah, maybe this wasn't the most fun fight to watch, Paddy said. But for people who actually understand MMA and for the old school fans, they'll appreciate it. This is the levels of the game, lad. Khamzat's grappling is so high level. His wrestling, his MMA wrestling. It's brilliant. I don't know if I've ever seen a champion dominated like that. Khamzat nearly won every second of that fight. The crowd might have booed, but it's not Khamzat's fault that Dricus couldn't stop him. Classic Paddy, never afraid to call things as he sees them. In this case, he was defending real MMA skill over casual entertainment. And he has a point. What many casual fans forget is that fighting isn't just about throwing wild punches and chasing knockouts. At the highest level, MMA is about strategy, control, dominance, and maximizing your chances of victory, while minimizing risk. Khamzat's ability to repeatedly take Dricus down, control him on the ground, and completely neutralize his striking was a display of world-class skill. Paddy essentially argues that anyone who truly understands MMA will recognize how special that level of dominance is. After all, du Plessis wasn't just an average fighter, he was the reigning champion, someone who had proven himself against elite competition. For Khamzat to make him look almost helpless at times wasn't boring, it was brilliance. Sure, casual fans may not have been on their feet cheering, but for anyone who trains or studies MMA, watching Khamzat chain his wrestling, maintain control, and shut down Dricus's offense is something to admire. It's the difference between watching for knockouts and appreciating the chess match that happens inside the octagon. Paddy's defense also raises a bigger question in MMA. Should fighters prioritize entertainment or should they focus solely on winning? History shows that many of the greatest champions, Georges St-Pierre, Khabib Nurmagomedov, even Anderson Silva, were often criticized for being boring, when, in reality, they were executing flawless dominance. Khamzat's performance against Dricus may not have been a highlight reel slugfest, but as Pimblett reminded everyone, it was a masterclass in control and dominance. And if you can dismantle a world champion in that fashion, it says far more about your skill than about how entertaining the fight appeared to the crowd. Our next story centers around Khamzat Chimaev and Reinier de Ridder, and things are starting to get very interesting. The two have recently gone back and forth online, creating quite a buzz among MMA fans. Reinier, the former One Championship double champion, has made it clear that he's eager to step into the octagon and challenge Khamzat for UFC gold. This comes at a time when Ikram Aliskerov and Caio Borralho are already battling it out for the official #1 contender spot. On paper, de Ridder isn't exactly next in line, but according to Damon Martin, he doesn't care about waiting. He's not just calling for the fight, he's ready to sign the contract right now. But here's where things took an unexpected twist. A tweet appeared from what seemed to be Reinier de Ridder's account, directly responding to Khamzat's message. "Congrats on the belt, but I'll show you what true grappling dominance looks like. Sign the contract." Khamzat quickly fired back with his trademark swagger, replying, "I'm gonna make you look like a white belt, Habibi." At first, it looked like the start of a genuine online feud, something that could build hype toward an actual fight. But then came the big revelation. The Reinier de Ridder account wasn't real. It was fake. That fake account had apparently been around for weeks, tricking fans and even fighters. Unbelievably, it had already fooled Paulo Costa earlier, and now it managed to trick Khamzat himself. It's a reminder that even at the highest level, fighters need to be careful when engaging online, because trolls can stir up drama out of nothing. Once the dust settled, the real Reinier de Ridder finally addressed the situation. Speaking on Submission Radio, he openly discussed the potential matchup with Khamzat. Unlike the fake tweets, his comments were respectful but confident. "I have some sneaky stuff from the bottom," de Ridder said. "I think I can really make it tough on him once I put him on his back. I believe I have a good chance in this fight." That's where things get truly intriguing for fight fans. De Ridder brings a unique skill set. He's an elite grappler with championship experience outside the UFC. Stylistically, it could be a fascinating clash. Khamzat has built his reputation as one of the most dominant wrestlers in the sport, while de Ridder thrives on technical creativity and dangerous submissions. It would be strength versus technique, raw dominance versus unorthodox strategy. So here's the big question. What fight would you rather see? A rematch between Khamzat and Dricus du Plessis, a rivalry with unfinished business and history behind it. Or a fresh matchup with Reinier de Ridder, the man who truly believes he can test Khamzat's grappling like no one else. Move on to Jon Jones has once again found himself at the center of conversation following UFC 319, after Dana White's recent comments stirred debate in the MMA world. During the post-fight press conference, Dana was asked about the long-rumored White House event, a potential card that has generated massive speculation among fans. Many believe that if such a historic night were to take place, Jon Jones would be the perfect headliner. However, Dana dismissed the possibility outright, stating, "If I had to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 that Jon Jones headlines that card." For most fighters, such a declaration might have been discouraging, but Jones, as always, responded with calm confidence. On social media, he wrote, "Despite the odds, I'm still training and optimistic about the possibility of being part of the White House event. At the end of the day, Dana is the boss. It's his call whether I fight that night or not, but I know he was excited about the fight. And the door isn't completely closed. That's all a guy like me really needs. Sometimes in life, you don't reach everything you set out to do, and that's okay, but I like my chances. After all, 1 in a billion is exactly what it took to become Jon Bones Jones in the first place." These words reflect the mindset of a fighter widely considered the greatest of all time, from becoming the youngest champion in UFC history to dominating the light heavyweight division for more than a decade. Jones has built his legacy on defying the odds. His resilience continues to define his career. This isn't the first time Dana White has delivered bold statements about Jones's future. Many fans recall the fallout from UFC 200 in 2016, when the highly anticipated rematch between Jones and Daniel Cormier collapsed at the last moment. At the time, Dana was furious, declaring that Jones would never headline another pay-per-view again. Yet history proved otherwise. Jones returned, headlined multiple massive events, and reclaimed his place at the top of the sport. So the question now is whether this situation will play out any differently. Dana insists the odds are 1,000,000,000 to 1. But if history has taught us anything, it's that betting against Jon Jones has never been a safe move. Finally, talk about Islam Makhachev and Jon Jones reacting to Khamzat Chimaev's massive title win. Ever since Khamzat burst onto the UFC scene in 2020, fans believed it was only a matter of time before he captured gold. His dominance in those early fights, finishes in just minutes, barely absorbing a single strike, had people calling him a future champion from the start. The only surprise was that it took him a few extra years to finally get there. Now that he has achieved it, Khamzat joins a very exclusive club of fighters who have won a UFC championship while still remaining undefeated. Names like Israel Adesanya during his early run, Ilia Topuria, and a select few others share that same accomplishment. With this victory, Khamzat has the platform to continue building his legacy. If he stays healthy, active, and keeps stacking wins against top competition, there's little doubt that by the end of his career, debates about his place among the all-time greats, the true GOATs of MMA, will be inevitable. Even before stepping into his first title fight, Khamzat openly admitted that his biggest inspiration throughout his journey was Jon Jones, widely considered one of the greatest fighters in UFC history. That's why when Khamzat finally had the belt wrapped around his waist, it meant even more that Jon himself took the time to acknowledge it. Jones posted on X early Sunday morning with a simple but powerful message: "Congratulations, Wolf." Coming from a fighter who defined an era of dominance, that single word of respect carried tremendous weight. But Jon wasn't the only champion to show respect. Islam Makhachev, the current lightweight king, also sent his congratulations. What makes Islam's message even more significant is the rocky history he and Khamzat once shared. Fans remember the heated incident involving Abubakar Nurmagomedov at a past UFC event, where tensions nearly spiraled out of control between their camps. Many assumed the two might never see eye to eye again. Yet, when Khamzat claimed gold, Islam put the past aside and posted on his Instagram story, "Congratulations. It was sure to happen." Short, direct, but filled with genuine acknowledgement. That kind of response shows maturity, growth, and recognition of Khamzat's undeniable talent. The fact that two champions, Jon Jones and Islam Makhachev, publicly paid their respects highlights just how impactful Khamzat's rise truly is. This isn't just another fighter winning a belt, it feels like the beginning of a new era, one where Khamzat Chimaev could very well define the future of the sport. Move on to Jon Jones has once again found himself at the center of conversation following UFC 319, after Dana White's recent comments stirred debate in the MMA world. During the post-fight press conference, Dana was asked about the long-rumored White House event, a potential card that has generated massive speculation among fans. Many believe that if such a historic night were to take place, Jon Jones would be the perfect headliner. However, Dana dismissed the possibility outright, stating, "If I had to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 that Jon Jones headlines that card." For most fighters, such a declaration might have been discouraging, but Jones, as always, responded with calm confidence. On social media, he wrote, "Despite the odds, I'm still training and optimistic about the possibility of being part of the White House event. At the end of the day, Dana is the boss. It's his call whether I fight that night or not, but I know he was excited about the fight. And the door isn't completely closed. That's all a guy like me really needs. Sometimes in life, you don't reach everything you set out to do, and that's okay, but I like my chances. After all, 1 in a billion is exactly what it took to become Jon Jones in the first place. These words reflect the mindset of a fighter widely considered the greatest of all time. From becoming the youngest champion in UFC history to dominating the light heavyweight division for more than a decade, Jones has built his legacy on defying the odds. His resilience continues to define his career. This isn't the first time Dana White has delivered bold statements about Jones's future. Many fans recall the fallout from UFC 200 in 2016, when the highly anticipated rematch between Jones and Daniel Cormier collapsed at the last moment. At the time, Dana was furious, declaring that Jones would never headline another pay-per-view again. Yet history proved otherwise. Jones returned, headlined multiple massive events and reclaimed his place at the top of the sport. So the question now is whether this situation will play out any differently. Dana insists the odds are 1,000,000,000 to 1. But if history has taught us anything, it's that betting against Jon Jones has never been a safe move.